You have 5 seconds to drop your gun. 5, 4. Imagine walking out into your own front yard on a slow golden Sunday afternoon just to breathe a little water, your roses, and suddenly a black SUV you've never seen in your life roars up your driveway, brakes, screaming dust everywhere. The doors swing open and these strangers come marching out. 2 guys dressed like Halloween knockoff SWAT, and this woman in sunglasses big enough for a raccoon swinging a clipboard like it's the Constitution. And before you even know what's going on, she's barking that she's formed a brand new HOA overnight, and now you're supposed to just bow down and live by her rules. I know you're probably thinking this has got to be a joke, right? That's what I thought too. Until she reached into her purse and pulled a gun. Yeah, a gun, like we were living in some Wild West fever dream and she was the sheriff nobody asked for. But let me back up a second. Sundays in Crestview Ridge always felt like some little slice of heaven you'd see in a calendar photo. Sun hanging soft and lazy, warm air drifting through the old pines. A hum of lawnmowers, kids laughing down the street. On that day, I was kneeling out by the rosebed dirt under my nails, peace in my bones. My husband Jalen was inside seasoning up chicken doors wide open to let that spring air fill the whole house. He'd been a cop for 20-something years, finally retired, wanted to spend his days right here not running after folks. You know what I mean? I used to joke you traded a badge for a barbecue apron and he'd just smile humming old tunes while he worked. But nothing prepared us for what came barreling down that driveway. The SUV screeched to a stop and 3 figures hopped out. 2 guys in tactical vests that looked like they'd been bought online, nothing but cheap patches, sunglasses trying too hard, and then right out front there she was, Trish Hafford. Now, if you've ever lived anywhere with an HOA, you know there's always a Trish bossy loud, always ready to tell you your mailbox is the wrong shade of beige. But this Trish was something else. Clipboard clutched in one hand, lips pursed so tight it looked painful. She stomped right up, no hello, no, how are you? Just, this neighborhood is now under the authority of the Crestview Residential Authority. You are in multiple violations. We expect immediate compliance, like she was quoting some sacred text. I stared at her garden gloves still on, thinking, is she for real? Alliance. You just formed an HOA, I asked, trying not to laugh. You can't do that without the whole neighborhood's consent. She just scoffed, waving a hand like I was a bug. We posted the rules this morning. New landscaping standards. New lawn decor, limits, new paint restrictions, and your property fails every single one. This is your first and final warning. Now, I don't scare easy. I stood up, brushed the dirt off my knees, looked her right in the sunglasses. That's not how HOAs work. You can't just make up laws and expect people to jump. But boy, did that set her off. Her face twisted jaw tight and she snapped. Like, really snapped. Without a word, she yanked a little silver pistol from her purse, stepped up so close I could smell her perfume, cheap, sharp, cold barrel pressing right to my forehead. Do I look like I'm joking? She hissed. And you want to know what's wild? I wasn't scared. Maybe I should have been, but in that moment, something just settled inside me. Years of having to be calm to stand my ground, it all flooded back. I looked at her shaking hand, that trembling pistol, and said, steady as Sunday sunrise. Brandishing a firearm without a permit is a felony. You even know what you're doing. She flared up nostrils, wide grip tightening. Behind her, those fake HOA tough guys started shifting. Suddenly, they looked less like henchmen and more like 2 guys regretting their life choices. One whispered, Trish, maybe chill, but she snapped, shut up. This woman needs to learn her place. I am the head of this community now. I didn't move. My hands stayed loose at my sides, dirt still dusted on my fingers. Pointing a gun at a homeowner isn't authority, it's a crime. You really want to ruin your life over my roses." And right then, Jalen, bless him, heard the commotion. You could feel the air change. He stormed onto the porch, years of training in every step. Didn't even hesitate. He drew his own licensed handgun, aimed it with hands steady as stone, his voice low and sharp, slicing through all that crazy. Drop the weapon. Now! Trish jerked her finger, twitched on the trigger. But Jalen didn't flinch. He stepped closer, eyes locked on hers. "You have 5 seconds. If you pull that trigger, you're going to prison for life. If I shoot, it's justified." The 2 fake HOA guys were done. They backed away, hands up, and then just took off running. Never seen grown men run so fast, one even tripped over his own boots on the way to the curb. But Trish just stood there, paralyzed, sweat beading on her forehead. Jalen's voice went low. 5, 4. You could see her unraveling breath, catching gun wobbling. 3. Her hand shook so bad I thought she'd drop it, and she did. Silver pistol hit the grass with a soft thud. Jalen kicked it away, never taking his eyes off her. "Amina, call the police." So I did. Calm as can be. "Yes, this is Amina Rowe." A woman just pointed a firearm at me in my front yard. "She's disarmed and still on the property." My voice was solid. I wasn't giving her the satisfaction of seeing me scared. Jalen kept that gun trained on Trish, not blinking. He'd seen a lot of dangerous folks back in his days as a cop, but this was just sad. She was a bully who finally ran into someone who wouldn't back down. You can't call the police on me," Trish whined like she really believed her own fantasy. "I'm the head of the HOA." Jalen almost laughed. "There is no HOA. What you did is felony assault with a deadly weapon. Be quiet." For once she listened. Neighbors started coming out porches full, eyes wide, phones up, everyone whispering, "Is that a gun? Is that Trish?" The sirens were already growing in the distance, slow at first, then rising until the whole block was humming with blue lights. Trish tried to back away, but Jalen stepped with her, never letting her get a single inch. "Don't run," he said, calm as a stone. 2 squad cars slid up the curb. Officers spilled out weapons ready, eyes taking in the whole circus. Jalen raised his gun, nice and slow, hands open. Retired officer, weapon secure, suspect disarmed. You could see the moment they recognized him, nodded, took control. Trish just crumpled. "Please. I didn't mean..." But they were already cuffing her fast and tight, one cop collecting the pistol with a look that said, "This is the dumbest thing I've seen all week." She kept blabbering, "I'm enforcing regulations. I formed an HOA, I'm in charge here, but nobody was buying it." The officer just shook his head. "Ma'am, you pointed a gun at a homeowner. You're under arrest for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, attempted intimidation, and impersonating authority." Her face collapsed, totally lost. "But they don't even follow the rules. This neighborhood needs order. I was trying to help." You know that's always how it goes. Someone calls it helping until they're the one in cuffs. I stepped forward, voice cool as shade. "You nearly killed me over flowers. Helping wasn't what you were doing." Trish went quiet as they led her to the squad car, neighbors gathering in clusters, recording everything, the arrest, the fake HOA vests tossed on the lawn, the whole mess laid bare in the sunshine. Jalen gave his statement, officers nodding, some old colleagues a few, even shaking his hand. Another patrol circled the block looking for the 2 wannabe enforcers who'd run off. They never caught him that day, but they sure did impound that SUV. Inside, they found piles of fake HOA notices, fake IDs, a clipboard of addresses marked targets. Trish hadn't just snapped that day. She'd been planning to bully the whole neighborhood into her own little fiefdom. But she picked the wrong yard to start with. The sun was setting by then, washing everything in gold. Quiet settled over the grass, roses swaying, neighbors still whispering. For a long moment, Jalen and I just stood together, watching the last of the squad cars roll away. Justice for once didn't shout, it just stood firm side by side. And let me ask you, if you think families deserve to feel safe and respected in their own homes, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment below. Ever run into a Trish where you live? How far would you go to stand up for what's right? What does justice even mean when someone tries to write their own laws with a gun? I'll tell you this, Trish came in swinging, but when it mattered, this family stood together and justice followed. That's what keeps Crestview Ridge safe, one backyard at a time.